Welcome to the bonus section of my online video class. This is my little welcome baby favor, but it could be very easily adapted to just anything interesting you'd want to put at the top. You could use something like this for wedding. You could make a big sunflower for Mother's Day, a flag for the 4th of July. Lots of possibilities. And I also used one of our Stampin' Up! 1x8 cello bags. I've got a little trick I can show you before we get started on the actual flower. Here's one of our 1x8 cello bags, and I've added a piece of our sticky strip all the way down. The reason I've done that is because I would go ahead and I would fill this with the candy, and then once the candy is inside, to make it a nice tight wrap, I would remove the sticky strip, fold it over, and have a much smaller version of the cello bag, which is exactly what I've done with the back side here. I made the seam on the back side. It's very hard to see it, so it looks good. It really looks good, and it really keeps the stem of it looking nice. So continuing on, let's make this blossom using the Stampin' Up! Fun Flower Bigs L die. I've got my trusty Big Shot and a piece of pink Pirouette paper. I've also pre-cut, also using the same die, some Melon Mambo flowers, another one of the pink pirouettes, and the die even has a small circle that I'm going to use for my flower center. So just to juice these up a little bit, I'm going to use my bone folder to give them a little curled edge. So you just sort of zhuzh it around. And I'm not going to do both. I'm actually going to layer it so that one is flat and one is curled. And I'm going to do that with the second one of the Melon Mambo blossoms. These are so pretty. You can either layer them all the same version or shape, or you can layer them with different shapes. I just love this die. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere it using some snail. And then I'm going to, I guess I'll go with this one next. And I'm doing this just offset. So instead of putting them on top, I'm just doing them exactly between the two petals below. I'm going to attach this one to the top. It is such a pretty little blossom. And then here's the flower center. I'm only going to do one side of it. That's going to allow me the opportunity to stick a sentiment underneath. Next quick little trick. I love having punches that not only is this a great owl builder punch, it has the perfect tiny little heart that I can tuck on here. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of adhesive on there. Always a little trickier operation. And that is going to go, I'm going to see which side is going to lift up. This side. So I'm going to put my little heart right there. And then another trick, I've stamped the sentiment, Melon Mambo, on Whisper White paper. This is Welcome Baby, and it is from the Little Editions stamp set from Stampin' Up! Love it. It's so cute. And then I've shown this trick on my blog, but all I'm doing is loading this into a 1 and a 1-inch square punch, and I'm lining up, let me show you, each edge of the actual cardstock with each edge of the corner of the square. And I'm also making sure that it's pointing, this is pointing to the middle, so I can get my flag in just the right spot. And now I bumped it, so I'm just going to readjust it. There you go. Isn't that simple? Rather than trying to figure out exactly where you're rolling with it. I gave it a little zhuzh. And I'm going to stick this underneath. And there's my flower. Dust it off a little bit. Actually, I'm going to want to stick that just a little further underneath. I feel like there's just too much hanging out. And then I'll show you the finished version. One little trick for the back side, so you don't see back of the adhered cello bag is I just took a 1 3/4 inch circle, cropped out pink pirouette, and added it to the back to give it a finished look. So thank you for joining me for this section of the Welcome Baby class. Bye-bye.